everybody, welcome back to Cottonwood Hill Farms. So we're finally getting back to cutting some hay. If you haven't seen our last video, you should go back and check it. We did some updates around the farm on what's been going on. We've gotten a lot of rain lately. It's been great. We definitely, I don't think we're in a drought anymore. We've gotten lots and lots of rain over the last month and a half, and it's really helped out with the hay and the pastures. So anyway, we're gonna get back to cutting some hay. We've got the rest of our third cutting to get knocked down today. And what we're going to do with that, that's that alfalfa, what's left of it. It's only a couple acres, but we got our third crop, most of our third crop up, and it was great, but there was a little patch that was a little bit behind. And the reason that was behind is we grazed that before the alfalfa really took off back in the spring. And so technically you could say this is actually our fourth crop off of that, because we did graze it once. It was only 6 or 8 inches tall, and then we did cut it for hay after that, obviously, but that's why it's not in sync with the rest of it. And the other thing is too, we've had some issues with some equipment this year, so I don't always like to lay everything down all at once unless I know I'm prepared for it. And it seems like the last few years I've always got things that need fixed and issues like that. And so we don't farm a whole lot, and so it just works for us to kind of stagger out things. That way if something happens, gets rained on, if we have a breakdown, whatever it is, not everything gets ruined all at once. So anyway, it's only a couple acres. We're going to get back, we're going to get that laid down. It's in full bloom, so it should have been cut probably a week and a half ago, but the rains just didn't allow us. And even when it didn't rain, we had some few days in there, and nothing seemed to dry during those few days. The ground stayed wet. It was kind of gloomy on some of those days, and so it just never really got dry, especially down underneath. And you don't want to cut hay when the ground is still wet underneath it, because then, unless you can, I take that back, unless you've got like a moco or something where you can put it into a tight windrow and then come back and ted it after the ground dries, that does work. But for us, the way we're doing it, you don't want to cut hay when the ground is still wet underneath it, because then it's never going to dry out. So anyway, we're finally getting back to that. And then the other thing we're going to do today, we're going to cut that piece of alfalfa there. Then we're also going to cut the south side of the horseshoe. Now that was what we had grazed, the last part of the horseshoe that we grazed, and it's that alfalfa. It's an alfalfa grass mix. And the east side of that hillside is blooming, starting to bloom fairly well. And obviously going across to the west, it's not blooming as much because we grazed across that way. But we're going to go ahead and cut it, and we're going to bale that too, because it's starting to get a little bit of foxtail in it and whatnot. And plus, if by the time we've got enough forages here and everything's growing fast enough, by the time we get around there with the cows, it's going to be bloomed and probably starting to dry out and not as good a quality. So we're going to go ahead and cut it, and we're going to round bale everything. The rest of my third crop, we're going to round bale that too, because it's got a lot, like I said, it's in full bloom. We didn't get it done in time, and it's got some foxtail coming through. So we're just going to round bale everything on this round. And then the other thing we're going to do is we're going to cut, we got a bunch of foxtail where that corn was last year that we tilled up, and we did light tillage, and then we planted orchard grass over. That orchard grass didn't really take off very well. It didn't germinate very well in that spot or the other spot. So all that foxtail that came up, I grazed the cows over that 5 acres first, and then I moved them over to the 8 acres where the oats were last year, and it had that red clover in it. And they're kind of chewing that down, but obviously they're not going to eat the foxtail, because the foxtail is very mature and it's headed out. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut all that foxtail, and we're going to bale it and use it for bedding, because we've got to have bedding for the fresh cows, obviously, during the winter. And so that should be enough that I don't think we're going to have to buy bedding. So that's going to save us $600-700 at least, maybe $1,000 for the bedding that we would have to buy. So I think that'll cover it. It should come close if it doesn't, so we maybe only have to buy a few bales. But either way, it's turning out to be a great year so far. And I think the way the forecasts are, and I mean, we're already toward the end of August. Today is August 15th, just to give you guys a reference. So it's everything's looking really good for the rest of the year. And so that's kind of the scoop of what we got going on today. The round baler is working. I think I fixed the main issue. It still has a couple other small things, but it should be functional as far as the surface wrap or the net wrap goes. We got things pretty much ready to go. I got to stick some fuel in the tractor, and then we're going to head out and start cutting. we got all of this cut. There was a lot more grass in here than I expected, and up here on the flat and up above that other terrace, it was a lot thicker than I was expecting too. This is gonna have to dry for a couple days, that's for sure. This was up in the above these two terraces. It was really thick. There's gonna be more hay here than I thought, and like I said, there's more grass in here than I thought too. But anyway, good feeling to get all that done. So it's a couple days later. I didn't get everything cut that I wanted to get cut. I didn't get over on the other side of the highway over here and get that couple acres cut of grass that I wanted to, but that's okay. We'll get to it either tomorrow, or today's Thursday, so either tomorrow or Saturday. We don't have any rain in the forecast for, I think it's like the next seven or 8 days, something like that. But anyway, I got to get to raking on this. That alfalfa is ready to go. I need to get it raked up, get it baled, and then that grass and foxtail that I cut, that I'm gonna check it, but man, that was really thick in some spots, and I'm guessing it ain't gonna hurt to let it lay another day. So that's what I'm thinking, is I might let that lay, rake everything else, bale the alfalfa today, and then get to the foxtail tomorrow, and then Saturday head over and cut that other bit over there, because like I said, we got 7 days of dry weather is what it looks like right now. So I'm gonna get everything done that I can. Then after I cut that over there, then I gotta run over the other highway on the other side of town and cut that little couple acres that guy wants to square bale over there. So right now I gotta unhook the mower from the Massey and get the rake hooked up to it, and I gotta put some fuel in the John Deere too. I'm gonna do that while I'm at it and get it ready to hook up to the round baler. Well, that's a wrap for raking today. We got all this done, which is good, and then I got that other couple acres over on the opposite side of this alfalfa here. I got what was left of third cutting. I got that done too. So tomorrow we'll get this baled up. I'll probably do that first, and then I'll rake this the rest of this over here. It's pretty thick up on top here above this terrace right here and above the next terrace, and so it's not going to hurt it to lay another day. And there's not much alfalfa in there. I think there might be a little bit here and there, but not enough to worry about. So I'm just going to let it lay. It ain't going to hurt it. Let it dry out a little bit, and then I'll turn it tomorrow after I get the rest of this baled. This looks like it's going to be pretty decent hay. I probably could have gotten down here. This didn't have as much alfalfa. This is probably 50-50 grass alfalfa over here. On the other side over there, that's mostly alfalfa. Or, well, this cutting, I should say, it's probably 60-65% alfalfa, somewhere in there. And it was a little dry on top, a little bit of leaf shatter. I know you're going to have that with alfalfa anyway, a little bit, but still, if I would have had time, ideally I should have been turning that probably a couple hours earlier than what I did, but I had stuff going on, and it is what it is. So all in all, I think this is going to be a good cutting. I think this is going to turn out real nice, and especially with the weather we're having right now, this is great drying weather. So anyway, that's going to do it for now. I got to get the tractor back up, and I got to get ready to milk. And I see I've got a couple cows out here. I don't think my hot wire is so hot at the moment over here, because as you saw, there's a couple cows out over there. So anyway, I'm gonna run the tractor back up to the yard, drop it off, grab the four-wheeler, come back and get these two dry cows back in, and then get ready to start milking. But that's gonna do it for this one. We really appreciate all the support, and it does mean a lot to us. Appreciate the comments and everything. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification button so you don't miss any of the videos coming out. And you can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok maybe. I don't know, we'll see if I can figure it out. But anyway, you guys take care. We'll see you in the next one.